Welcome, and thank you for being here tonight. At Moonlit Zen Sleep, a quiet place made for people who carry too much, feel too deeply, and long for a peaceful night. Before anything else, just take a slow breath in and let it fall gently out. You've arrived. Tonight's story, Zen Stories That Heal the Mind, is an invitation to step out of the noise of the day and enter a softer world, a world where the mind loosens, the heart settles, and the night finally welcomes you home. This session has one purpose: to bring you deep peace and calm rest through the gentle rhythm of Zen stories, soft imagery, and the quiet wisdom hidden in silence. Nothing heavy, nothing demanding, only ease, only quiet, only the slow drifting into a calmer version of yourself. Before the night deepens, let me meet you where you are. Maybe your mind is full, maybe your heart feels unsettled, maybe you're just tired in a way that sleep alone rarely fixes. Wherever you are internally, you're not alone, and tonight, you don't have to be anything but here. Let this space hold you the way moonlight holds the ocean softly, without asking anything in return. Let yourself walk toward that quiet temple, one slow breath at a time. With each inhale, you step forward. With each exhale, you release something small, a worry, a leftover thought, a piece of the day no longer needed. No effort, no force, just drifting, gently, into a softer state of being. And if, at any moment tonight, this space brings you peace, you're welcome to return here whenever you need, at no cost, no pressure, just a quiet home for your tired mind. The candle is closer now. The forest is fading behind you. The breath is slowing into a natural tide. You're stepping into a world where stories heal quietly, where the mind unwinds gently, and where sleep comes not by trying, but by surrendering. Let the night take you deeper. Let the stillness guide you inward. Let the stories begin to open the soft places inside you that have waited all day to breathe again. And now, as the path dissolves into moonlight, we drift together into the first Zen story of the night. Settle in, just as you are, with nothing to fix, nothing to hold up, nothing to perfect. Let your breath fall into a softer rhythm, a slow tide, rolling in and rolling out, steady and unforced. The night is widening around you. The air grows calm. The body becomes heavier, like a stone resting in a quiet riverbed. You don't need to rush anymore. You don't need to brace yourself. Not here, not now. Imagine a moonlit path stretching gently ahead of you, lined with tall trees, their leaves whispering softly above your head, as if the forest is breathing in time with you. A warm glow appears farther down the path, a little hut made of worn wood, its window lit by a single candle. Inside, you sense a stillness, a peace that feels both ancient and familiar. You step closer, slowly, without effort, drawn by a quiet presence waiting within. When you reach the doorway, you see him, the Buddha, sitting with a group of monks in the soft candlelight. No one speaks. The room feels like a held breath, a pause between heartbeats, a place where the world forgets its noise. The Buddha looks at you with gentle awareness, like he sees every thought, every weight, every restless corner of your mind, and welcomes all of it, without judgment. You take a seat among the monks. The floor is cool, the air is still. Your breath begins to deepen on its own, drawn into the quiet of this space. In front of the Buddha is a clear glass of water, still, untouched, perfectly transparent under the candle's glow. A young monk sits beside him, struggling with worry. His thoughts churn. You can almost feel the tightness in his chest, the familiar ache of a mind that can't slow down. The Buddha lifts the glass gently. His movements are slow, fluid, unhurried, like the breath of the night itself. He stirs the water with his hand. The clear water turns cloudy. Particles rise, swirl, scatter, filling the glass with shifting shadows. The monk watches, confused, uneasy, mirroring the same way your own thoughts sometimes churn in the late hours, when everything feels louder, heavier, closer. The Buddha sets the glass on the ground, softly, deliberately, without a sound. He does nothing more. He simply watches. You watch, too. The water moves restlessly at first, clouds drifting and twisting, just like thoughts after a long day, when the mind refuses to stop stirring itself. But slowly, very slowly, the particles begin to fall. The movement softens. The water grows calmer, clearer, more transparent with each passing moment. A silence fills the room, deep and warm, like the space inside a mountain cave where sound cannot reach. The Buddha finally speaks, his voice quiet, steady, no stronger than a leaf touching the surface of a still pond. "Do you see the water trying to settle?" he asks, while it is being stirred. The monk nods. "And do you see how it clears, without effort? When it is left alone?" The young monk's breath softens. A small exhale leaves his chest, like a thread pulled free. You feel your own breath respond, loosening, softening, settling. The Buddha continues, "Your mind is like this water. When troubled, it becomes cloudy, but it is not broken. It only needs to be allowed to rest." The words drift through the candlelit room, not as instruction, not as teaching, but as a gentle reminder, a soft place to lay the weight of your thoughts. Outside, the night deepens. The moon rises higher. Its light spills across the earth in a silver hush. Crickets sing somewhere far away, their voices steady and rhythmic, like a natural lullaby carried on the wind. You notice your own body sinking a little deeper, the muscles around your shoulders loosening, your breath flowing more easily, as if the night itself is settling inside you. The Buddha lifts the glass again. The water is almost clear now, calm, quiet, restored to what it always was. Beneath the stirring, he holds it up to the candlelight. The flame dances softly behind the glass, its reflection steady, unbroken. When the mind is left to rest, he says, clarity returns on its own. His voice feels like warm rain, soft, healing, without force. You sense something opening inside you, a small door, a quiet release, like exhaling after holding your breath for too long. The Buddha places the glass before the monk. "Just watch," he says. "Let the water teach you." The monk bows his head. His restlessness fades. His breath evens out. Something inside him settles, the way silt settles at the bottom of a stream. The same settling begins within you, gentle, natural, unforced. The body grows heavier. The mind grows softer. Thoughts drift to the edges of awareness, like clouds thinning in a wide night sky. The Buddha looks toward you again, and in that gaze, you feel seen, not for your burdens, but for the softness beneath them, the stillness waiting to return. He says nothing. He doesn't need to. The room itself speaks. The silence speaks. The settling speaks. Your breath moves easily now, in and out, slow tides on a quiet shore. The candle flickers. The story breathes. Your mind begins to clear, not by effort, but by simply being allowed to rest. The candle glows softly, casting warm circles of light across the wooden floor. Shadows move gently along the walls, dancing with every flicker, fading with every breath. The monks remain silent, their eyes lowered, their bodies still, their presence calm, like stones resting in deep mountain water. The Buddha lets the silence stretch. He doesn't rush the moment. He never does. He lets the air breathe for itself. He lets the room soften on its own. The glass of water sits between you and him, half clear now, half clouded, a quiet mirror of the mind's natural way of settling. You notice how the particles fall, slowly, lazily, as if each one is drifting into its rightful place. Nothing is pushed, nothing is forced, Nothing is urged to hurry, and somehow, watching it fall makes something in you fall as well. Your thoughts, your tension, your tightness, all beginning to settle, grain by grain. The Buddha speaks again, not louder than before, but deeper, as though his voice rises from the center of the earth. When you stir the mind, he says, it clouds. When you leave it alone, it clears. He lifts the glass once more. The water is almost transparent now, the candlelight shining through without struggle, without distortion, without noise. You breathe in that clarity, not with your lungs, but with your whole being. It feels like cool air sliding down a quiet forest path. It feels like moonlight resting on a sleeping lake. The Buddha places the glass into the young monk's hands. Look, he says softly. Peace arrives when you stop trying to force it. The monk gazes into the glass, his eyes wider now, not from surprise, but from recognition. Something inside him loosens. He holds the glass as if it contains a secret, a truth he had always known but had forgotten for a while. You understand that feeling. We all do. We all forget that the mind can rest. We forget that thoughts settle. We forget that clarity is not earned, but uncovered. The Buddha turns toward you again. His gaze rests on you the way sunlight rests on a leaf, gentle, steady, accepting. You do not need to chase calm, he says. You only need to stop chasing your thoughts. The words move through you like warm wind through an open window. They settle in your chest, in the space behind your ribs, in the quiet center that has waited so long to breathe freely again. Outside, the forest stirs softly. A breeze passes the hut. Leaves whisper. Grass shifts. Nature exhaling with you. And somewhere beyond the trees, the night sky stretches wide and open, endless, deep, vast enough to hold every worry you have ever carried. The Buddha lifts his hand and points toward the window. Look at the moon, he murmurs. You turn. The moon hangs above the treetops, round, bright, completely untouched by the darkness around it. Even when clouds hide the moon, he says, the moon remains whole. The sky remains vast. The light remains pure. You breathe, slowly, deeply, as if your breath is trying to match the moon's softness. The mind is the same, he continues. It is never broken, only hidden, only stirred. A gentle warmth spreads through your limbs, a heaviness, a comfort, like being wrapped in a blanket of night air. The candle flickers again. The glow softens. The room grows warmer. Your eyelids grow heavier, not with sleep yet, but with quiet. The Buddha places the clear glass on the ground one final time. It no longer moves. The water has found its stillness. You see, he says, the water was always clear beneath the cloudiness, just as you are always clear beneath your thoughts. The young monk bows deeply. A tear glints at the corner of his eye. Not a painful tear, but a soft one, a releasing one. Like the body letting go of a long-held breath, you feel a similar release inside you. Your mind is not empty, but quieter, softer, like a room where the lights have dimmed, and everything settles into the calm of evening. The Buddha rises slowly, not hurried, not strained, as if he moves with the natural rhythm of the night itself. He steps outside and motions for you to follow. The forest is glowing under the moonlight. Shadows lean long across the ground. Crickets hum. The air is cool and kind. You walk beside him, each step slow, each step gentle, each step dissolving more of the day behind you. There is a place within you, he says, that no trouble can reach. A breeze brushes your skin. Your chest opens slightly. Your breath deepens. Your shoulders fall back into ease. When you stop stirring the mind, the Buddha whispers, you return to that place. The night spreads wide. The ground feels soft beneath your feet. The trees sway in slow, silent patterns. You sense a quiet truth in the air. That rest is not something you must earn, but something you naturally drift toward when the mind is left alone. The Buddha stops beside a small pond. Its surface is smooth, reflecting the moon perfectly. He gestures to the water. This is the mind, when it no longer fights with itself. The pond doesn't move. The image of the moon remains clear, whole, untouched. You feel your breath slow, your thoughts soften, your entire body sink deeper into this gentle rhythm. The Buddha turns to leave. He doesn't say goodbye. He knows you will return here to the pond, to the story, to the stillness. Whenever the mind becomes cloudy again, you remain by the water, your reflection side by side with the moon, calm, steady, settled. The night holds you like a friend. The earth supports you like a cradle. Your breath moves like soft waves on a quiet shore. This is the moment before sleep, where the mind loosens its grip, where clarity returns, where stillness rises. And as the pond settles into deeper silence, you feel yourself settling too, gently, naturally, just as the Buddha intended. Settle in again. Feel the breath moving softly, in and out, like a tide returning home. The night around you grows deeper. The air grows quieter. Your body grows heavier, comfortable, safe. Let the mind drift, slowly, naturally, like clouds passing the moon. You have arrived at the next part of the journey, a story about weight, about burdens, about the quiet art of putting things down before they break us. Listen gently. Let the words move through you like warm wind between tall trees. Long ago, in a small village, resting at the edge of a forest, a man walked toward the Buddha. His back was bent, his breath was uneven, his shoulders trembled under the weight of a large rice sack he carried across his spine. The morning sun warmed the earth. Birds called softly. Villagers moved calmly through their day, but the man could barely take another step. He saw the Buddha sitting beneath a banyan tree, calm, still, present like a mountain at the center of the world. The man staggered closer. "Master," he said, "I am exhausted. My body shakes. My heart aches. My mind feels tight. How can I live when everything feels this heavy?" The Buddha looked at him, not at the sack of rice, but at the man himself. "Why do you carry so much?" he asked gently. The man blinked. "I must," he replied. "If I don't carry it, who will?" His voice cracked under the strain. The Buddha pointed to the ground, a patch of soft earth, quiet, cool, waiting. "Place it down," he said. The man hesitated. He had been carrying his burdens so long that letting go felt strange, almost frightening. "Place it down," the Buddha repeated, soft as moonlight, and the man lowered the sack slowly, carefully, until it rested on the earth with a muted thud. His knees softened, his breath deepened, his chest widened as though it finally remembered how to breathe freely. "Do you feel lighter?" the Buddha asked. The man nodded. A long exhale escaped him, the kind that comes only after a heavy load has been released. The Buddha placed his hand over his heart. "This," he said, "is the burden that matters." The man frowned. "But I carry nothing here," he said. The Buddha shook his head with a soft smile. "You carry memories," he said. "You carry worries. You carry fear not yet named. You carry every word you wish you could forget. You carry the past on your back as surely as you carried that rice." The man looked down. His hands trembled, not from effort now, but from recognition. "You feel that too, somewhere inside yourself. The invisible weight, the silent heaviness, the things you never say out loud." The Buddha watched the man closely. "Burden does not hurt you," he said. "Holding it forever does. The words drift into you, soft, slow, deep. Let them settle. Let them move through the places that feel tired or tight or full." The man whispered, "But how do I put down what I cannot see? How do I drop a weight that lives in my thoughts?" The Buddha motioned him to sit beside him. The earth was cool. The shade was soft. The breeze brushed gently across the skin. The Buddha spoke carefully, as though each word was chosen the way river stones are chosen. Smooth, rounded, gentle, You try to solve your pain while still carrying it, he said. It is like trying to swim while holding a boulder. The man closed his eyes. Tears filled the edges. You know this feeling. Everyone does. Trying to fix things while still drowning in them. Trying to move forward with the past, gripping your ankle. Trying to rest while the heart still clenches. The Buddha leaned closer. Before you understand your burden, he said, you must first set it down. The Buddha asked the man to lift the sack again. The man groaned. His body tensed. The weight returned with a vengeance. Now, the Buddha said, set it down. The man did, and the relief returned. Again, the Buddha whispered. The man lifted. He lowered. He breathed. And then again. Lift. Lower. Exhale. Slowly, something changed in the man's face. He began to understand that letting go is not one moment. It is a practice, a rhythm, a soft repetition of release. Lift, lower, let go. Your breath does the same right now. In, out, let go. The Buddha watched the man carefully. You learn to release, he said, the way you learn to breathe by doing it again and again. The man felt the truth moving through him like warm river water. You feel it too. Let the breath carry it deeper. The Buddha looked at the sack. Your burden speaks, he said. It tells you when you have carried too much. It tells you when to rest. It tells you when to allow the earth to help you. The man touched the ground beside the sack. Is it really this simple? He whispered. The Buddha smiled. The earth was made to hold what you no longer can. You take a slow breath. Feel that. Let those words soften your chest. Everything you carry, fear, pressure, memories, tension, the earth can hold. The night can hold. This moment can hold. You do not have to hold everything. Not tonight. Not now. Not in this breath. The Buddha pointed to the man's heart. You carry more here than you ever carried in that sack. The man's shoulders trembled. We all do. The Buddha said. You carry expectations. You carry the weight of who you think you must be. You carry worries of who you might become. You carry the stories that were never yours to keep. The man began to cry, quiet tears rolling down dust-covered cheeks. You feel something soften too, a gentle loosening somewhere inside your chest. The Buddha spoke again. Pain becomes heavy only when we refuse to place it down. The Buddha instructed the man. Place your hand upon the sack. The man did. Now breathe out, as if the breath travels from your heart through your hand into the earth. The man exhaled, a long, trembling breath. Something inside him dropped, not the sack, but the tightness around his heart. You try it now. A slow exhale. Imagine the earth beneath you, receiving the weight you no longer need. Let the breath carry it down. Let the ground hold it. The Buddha nodded. You see, he said, letting go is not pushing away. It is allowing something else to help you carry it. The man looked frightened. If I let go, he whispered, will I lose everything? The Buddha touched the man's shoulder. You lose only the weight, he said, never yourself. The words sink into you like stones sinking gently into deep lake water. You lose nothing real by setting down what hurts, and your breath deepens again. The Buddha asked the man to stand. Walk without the sack, he said. The man took a few steps, unsteady at first, like someone relearning balance after years of tension. But with each step, his back straightened, his breath softened, his gaze lifted. He felt lighter, freer, more spacious inside. You see, the Buddha said, once you taste lightness, you no longer cling to unnecessary weight. A breeze passed through the banyan leaves. The sunlight warmed the earth. The man inhaled slowly, deeply, fully. You inhale with him. The Buddha motioned to the sack. Lift it again, he said. The man hesitated but obeyed, and to his surprise, the sack felt different, lighter, not because the rice changed, but because he changed. When the heart is clear, the Buddha whispered, even burdens lose their power. The man looked at the sack. He no longer feared it. He no longer felt crushed by it. The Buddha smiled. You may carry things, he said, but you do not need to carry the suffering you attach to them. You feel this truth move through your own body. The Buddha guided the man back to the soft ground. "Set it down again," he said. The man did, this time, without strain, without guilt, without fear. "Let the earth help you," the Buddha said, "and you feel the same invitation offered to you now, in your breath, in your body, in the room around you. Place down what you've held for too long, just for tonight. Let the earth help you." The man bowed deeply. "Master," he said, "what should I do tomorrow?" The Buddha smiled. "Pick up only what is needed," he said, "and place down everything else." Then he walked away into the quiet forest, leaving the man lighter than he had felt in years. You remain in the story a little longer. The banyan leaves sway. The wind sighs through the branches. The earth beneath you feels steady, calm, kind. You breathe, slowly, softly, completely. Tonight, you place your burdens down, not forever, just for now, just enough to sleep without weight, just enough to let the mind settle into gentleness, just enough to let your heart rest. As the night deepens, you feel a softer shift inside you, a quiet opening, a steady settling. Like seeds buried in dark soil, something unseen begins to change. Stay with the feeling that has started to open in you, that soft loosening, that gentle widening in the spaces beneath your ribs. You are still sitting beneath the banyan tree. The light is warm, the breeze is slow, the earth feels cool under your hands. And the man beside you, the man who carried the rice, sits with his palms resting softly on the ground, breathing with more ease than before. The Buddha has walked a short distance into the tall grass. Not far, just enough to let silence do its work. The man wipes his face, a careful gesture, as if afraid the peace might break if he moves too quickly. He whispers to himself, "I never knew I was allowed to rest." The words linger in the air. They drift toward you like small lanterns, floating on a calm river. You let the truth inside them touch something in you, something tired, something worn, something ready to be forgiven. The man turns to you. He doesn't speak, but his eyes say everything. Do you also carry what you no longer need? You breathe, slow, long, like the body finally remembers what ease feels like. The Buddha steps back toward the banyan tree. He walks slowly, as if matching the softness of the earth. His robe moves gently around his feet. His shadow glides across the ground like a quiet river. He sits again before the man, and before you. "You have learned to put down the sack," he says. "Now learn to put down the story that told you you must carry everything alone." The man's breath trembles. The words enter him the way light enters. A dark room, soft, certain, unavoidable. You feel the same light touching places in you that have felt heavy for far too long. The Buddha continues, "A burden is not a punishment. It is a sign that you have walked too long without rest." He touches the earth. This world was shaped to help you. Let it, and you breathe again. Deeper this time, as if the lungs expand into a space you almost forgot. The man rises slowly, not because he is weak, but because he is learning not to rush. His back is straighter, his eyes softer, his breath fuller. He bows to the Buddha in gratitude and humility and quiet relief. Then he turns toward the village path, a winding road lined with sunlight and drifting dust. He doesn't lift the sack, not yet. He walks a few steps with empty hands. He feels the freedom of weightlessness. He tastes the sweetness of unburdened breath. You feel it too, inside your chest, inside your shoulders, inside the space between your thoughts. After several steps, the man pauses. He looks back at the sack on the ground, then at the Buddha, then at you, and you understand what he is seeing, that he will carry the sack again, but differently, with softness, with breath, with space. He returns, places one hand on the sack, and lifts it, not with strain, but with presence. He sets it across his shoulder, balanced, steady, lightened by the absence of fear. The Buddha nods. When the heart is free, he says, even the heaviest load can be lifted without pain. The man smiles a quiet, knowing smile and walks away, this time without collapse, without trembling, without dread. You watch him go until he disappears beyond the trees. The Buddha turns to you. You saw the burden, he says. Now look at the freedom. His voice is calm, wide, filled with the steady truth of mountains. There is nothing wrong with carrying, he continues. Life requires effort. Life requires movement. Life requires responsibility. The air stills as you absorb his words. But suffering, he says, comes from refusing to rest along the way. He lifts his hand, palm open. Lay down what is done. Lay down what is heavy. Lay down what hurts. He lets the hand fall onto his knee, then lift again only what is needed. A long pause opens like a door. You step into that pause with your breath. The Buddha gestures to the ground once more. Sit, he says. Feel the earth. So you sit. The soil beneath you is cool and steady. It doesn't move. It doesn't shift. It doesn't question what you place upon it. It simply holds. You, too, the Buddha says, must learn to be held. His voice falls like warm rain on a quiet night. You place one hand on the ground, then the other. You feel the strength beneath your fingers, the ancient calm beneath your palms. You are not meant to carry everything, the Buddha whispers. Some things are meant for the earth, and in that moment, something in you, something you have carried alone for a long time, begins to descend. Not fall, not drop, just descend. The way dust settles after sunlight moves through a room. Your breath deepens. Your chest softens. Your thoughts sink like pebbles through clear water. The Buddha watches you gently. Yes, he says quietly. That is how letting go begins. You sit with the earth beneath you and your breath within you. And for the first time in a long while, there is space. Not empty space. Living space. Healing space. A space where the heart can stretch and be unafraid. The Buddha speaks again. When you set something down, he says, your hands open. He turns his palms upward, and with open hands, you can finally receive. You breathe into your own hands, soft, slow, warm. You feel the night move through your fingers. You feel the quiet settle into your bones. You feel the difference between carrying and resting, between force and surrender, between fear and peace. The Buddha closes his eyes. Let the breath carry away what you no longer wish to hold. You inhale slowly, the deepest breath of the night so far. And as you exhale, something leaves you, something heavy, something old, something that doesn't belong to the person you are becoming. It leaves without a sound. The sky above fades to a deeper blue. The moon glides higher. The forest hums softly as if singing a low lullaby. You sit with the Buddha beneath the banyan tree, and everything feels gentler. Your breath, your body, your mind, all moving with the stillness of the night. You can rest now, the Buddha says. Put it down. You close your eyes. Your shoulders fall. Your breath flows out in one long, releasing sigh. And the earth, faithful and steady, holds it all. The Buddha rises slowly. His presence feels like a soft lantern guiding you deeper inward. Tonight, he says, you will sleep with lighter hands. He turns toward the forest path. And tomorrow, you will walk with a lighter heart. The wind picks up, a gentle, warm wind, carrying the scent of night flowers. You breathe it in. You let it fill you. You let it soften the echoes of old weight. You feel yourself sinking into the calm of the moment. Settling, drifting, resting. Settle in again, slowly, gently, as if the night itself is guiding your breath. Let your body soften. Let your shoulders fall. Let your jaw loosen. Let your breath move in warm, quiet waves. You are entering the deeper part of the night. The air around you grows cooler, darker, softer. The earth grows still. The world becomes quiet. The mind begins to dim its light. Feel the breath like a warm hand on your chest, in and out, slow and steady, as if nothing in the world needs your effort right now. You have placed down your burdens. You have let the weight drop, but something still flickers inside. A small heat, a restless ember, a quiet ache that has not yet cooled. Tonight, we enter that flame with gentleness. We walk with it. We listen to it. We let it soften. This is a story about fire and the Buddha and the warmth that becomes peace when the heart finally lets go. Imagine a moonlit grove just beyond the village. Tall bamboo stalks sway in the hush of a warm breeze. The night is alive with soft sounds, crickets humming, leaves brushing, earth breathing. You walk toward a small clearing. The moonlight rests on quiet grass. The air tastes cool and clean. In the center of that clearing sits a young monk, his brow tight, his hands clenched, his breath shallow, uneven, hot. You can feel something rising from him, a heat mixed with sorrow, a flame searching for release. The Buddha stands nearby, his presence steady as a mountain, his silence soft as night rain. The young monk struggles to breathe. His chest tightens, his thoughts burn. Finally, he cries, "Master, my anger follows me. I cannot let it go." The words tremble in the air. They tremble inside you too, because you know this heat. Everyone does. The heat of old wounds, of unfair days, of hurtful words, of unspoken fears. The Buddha kneels beside him without a sound. "What do you hold?" he asks softly. "Nothing," the young monk says, but his voice shakes, his breath shakes, his heart shakes. "You hold fire," the Buddha whispers, "and fire burns the one who holds it." The Buddha lifts his hand. Moonlight glides across his palm. He does not speak for a moment. He lets silence settle between them, like ash falling slowly to the ground. The monk watches him, eyes filled with heat and exhaustion. The Buddha asks, "If a man holds burning coal to throw at another, who feels the fire first?" The monk closes his eyes. He understands, but he cannot release it yet. You feel that too, that moment when truth arrives but the heart is still on fire. The Buddha reaches forward and touches the monk's hand. "Let me show you," he says. The Buddha places a small glowing ember on a broad leaf. Its orange light shivers in the darkness. "Take it," he says. The monk hesitates, but he obeys. He lifts the leaf. The ember glows brighter. Heat rises. His hand trembles. "How does it feel?" the Buddha asks. "It burns," the monk whispers. "Do you wish to hold it longer?" the Buddha asks. The monk shakes his head. The Buddha nods. "Then put it down." The monk lowers the leaf onto the earth. The ember rests quietly, its heat fading into the soil. The Buddha waits. He watches the monk's shoulders slowly loosen. He watches the breath slowly soften. He watches the heat begin to leave his chest. "You see," he says, "you do not release fire by fighting it. You release fire by not holding it." The monk opens his eyes. Tears shine under the moonlight. "Master," he whispers, "why does my heart create so much heat?" The Buddha touches the monk's chest, a gesture soft as moonlit wind. "Because your heart still believes it must burn to be heard." The words settle like warm rain. You feel them inside your own chest. You know that heat, the fire of wanting to be understood, the fire of pain held for too long, the fire that rises when the world feels overwhelming. The Buddha continues, "Fire is not wrong. It is only tired. It is only asking to be cooled." He lifts his hand and breathes out a slow, soft exhale. The ember fades. The earth absorbs its final warmth. "Do you feel that?" he asks. The monk nods, his voice gentler, his breath deeper. The heat within him begins to soften. The Buddha stands and motions him toward a nearby stream. Water flows over smooth stones, silver under moonlight, soft as a lullaby. "Place your hands in the water," he says. The monk kneels and lowers both hands. The coolness wraps around his skin. The heat sighs out of his body. You feel it too, the idea of cool water touching the places inside you that have burned for so long. The Buddha kneels beside him. Anger is heat that has forgotten how to cool itself. The monk breathes slowly. The water swirls gently. The night settles. You breathe with him. You feel your own heat soften with each inhale and each long, slow exhale. The Buddha dips his hand into the water. If you resist heat, he says, it grows. If you hide heat, he says, it spreads. But if you touch heat with cool presence, it releases itself. The water ripples in small circles around their hands. The monk watches the circles widen, fade, disappear. You see, the Buddha whispers, nothing stays burning if you stop feeding the flame. The words feel like a cool breeze moving through your ribs. You breathe out, slowly, letting your own flame dim a little more. The Buddha stands again. He lifts his hand toward the moon. Even the moon begins as fire, he says, but becomes light when freed from fuel. The monk rises slowly, his eyes calmer, his breath smoother. What should I do when the fire returns? He asks. The Buddha smiles. Recognize it, he says. Touch it gently. Then open your hand. He spreads his fingers into the night air. A gesture of release, a gesture of surrender, a gesture of peace returning. Fire leaves when the hand opens, he says. Not before. The monk watches his own hands. He opens them slowly, deliberately, like petals softening in moonlight. You open your hands too, just a little, just enough to let something inside you cool. The wind moves through the bamboo grove, not sharp, not cold, warm, healing, full of night's softness. The monk steps closer to the Buddha. I feel lighter, he whispers. You are lighter, the Buddha says. You stopped holding what was hurting you. The monk lowers his head, not in shame, in gratitude. The Buddha places a hand on his shoulder. Every heart holds fire, he says. That is not weakness. That is humanity. He steps back and looks at the monk deeply. But only some learn to let the fire go. The moonlight shimmers on the leaves. The water sighs over the stones. The night feels like a cool blanket wrapped around your chest. You breathe deeper. The heat inside continues to soften, to dim, to fade into the quiet of the night. The monk sits again beside the water. He lifts his hands to the moon. They feel different, he says softly. Lighter, cooler. The Buddha nods. Heat is not who you are, he says. It is only what the heart has carried. The monk lets his hands fall back to his lap. The Buddha continues. Peace returns when the heart stops burning for attention. The monk inhales. A deep, slow breath. His chest rises and falls like a gentle tide. You breathe with him. You feel your own fire brighten just a moment, then cool. Slowly, naturally, like embers turning to light. The night deepens. The stars brighten. A soft mist drifts over the grove. The Buddha sits quietly beside the monk. The world around them stills. Finally, the monk speaks. Master, I think I understand. I hold fire because I forget I can let go. The Buddha touches his chest. You only needed to remember, he says. Fire fades when you breathe with gentleness. He lifts his eyes to the night. Everything cools in time. The wind moves again, a slow, warm current that brushes your face like the touch of someone who understands. You breathe deeper. You sink further into the quiet. You feel the flames inside you cool into a soft glow. The Buddha rises. The monk rises. The bamboo sways in slow, sleepy arcs. The embers fade. The water stills. The night becomes whole. You have cooled the fire, the Buddha says. Now learn to hear peace. He turns toward a path leading deeper into the forest, a path of moonlit stones, a path that calls softly to the heart. This is where the next lesson waits, he whispers, and you are ready to walk. His voice settles into your chest. Your breath slows. Your thoughts soften. Your fire fades into warmth. You follow the path with the monk, moving deeper into the night, toward the story of the endless bell, toward the peace that waits in sound. For now, rest here, breathe here, cool the fire within your chest. The night holds you, the earth cools you, your breath steadies you, and the heart finally rests. Stay with the night a little longer. Feel it deepen around you. Feel it soften within you. The grove is quiet now. The embers have dimmed. The river nearby whispers in long, silver breaths. You sit with the young monk, both of you breathing slowly, both of you cooling from the inside out. The Buddha walks a few steps ahead, but his presence still surrounds you, steady, grounding, like a warm light somewhere just beyond the trees. You look down at your own hands. You notice how they feel less tight, less restless, less full of heat. The monk whispers, "It feels strange to be calm." You smile softly because you understand. Sometimes peace feels foreign after years of burning inside. The Buddha turns back and gestures for both of you to follow him deeper into the grove. His steps are slow, unhurried, almost dreamlike. Each footstep feels like a soft bell ringing in the earth. You rise. The monk rises. Your bodies feel lighter, a little more at ease, as if the night has loosened something around your ribs. The Buddha leads you to a quiet hollow where the moonlight spills like silver water. A low stone bench sits beside a field of sleeping flowers. "Sit," he says. And so you do. The monk sits beside you, his breath slow, his eyes softer. The Buddha looks toward the dark tree line. Anger hides, he begins, in places we rarely look. He kneels and draws shapes in the soil. Sometimes it hides in memories we never healed. He draws another shape. Sometimes in words we never spoke, another shape. Sometimes in wounds we never admitted. He wipes the drawings away with one gentle sweep. And sometimes, he says, it hides in the simple truth that we forget to treat ourselves kindly. The monk swallows hard. You feel something shift inside your own chest. A recognition, a quiet ache, a warmth that is slowly cooling. The Buddha meets your eyes. "You are not wrong for having fire," he says. "You are only tired from holding it." The night wind moves through the clearing. It brushes your skin like a soft cloth. It enters your chest like a slow, cool breath. The Buddha closes his eyes. He breathes with the wind, long, slow, gentle. You breathe with him. You follow the rhythm. Your mind begins to sway with the air. The monk's shoulders drop. You hear his breath settle into the same rhythm. The Buddha opens his eyes. "Let the breath cool you," he says. "Let it move where the fire lived." You inhale, you exhale, and something warm uncoils in your belly, a quiet release of heat and tension. The Buddha nods as if he senses it. "Yes," he says softly, "that is the beginning." The Buddha reaches into his robe and removes a small lantern. He lights it with a single spark. The flame flickers soft, gentle, held safely behind thin glass. He places the lantern between you and the monk. "Fire can hurt," he says. "Fire can heal." He lifts the lantern. Fire illuminates when held wisely. He lowers it again, but fire destroys when held in the fist. He touches your hand ever so lightly. You have held your flame too tightly. You breathe out. Your hand opens. Your chest loosens. He smiles. And now, he whispers, "You are learning to hold it differently." The lantern flame dances softly, no longer dangerous, no longer consuming, only warm, only present. You watch it sway. You feel its warmth without threat. You let that warmth travel through your heart like a quiet blessing. The Buddha stands and holds the lantern up to the night sky. Its glow merges with the moonlight. It becomes one with the stars. It becomes less fire and more light. "Your anger," he says, "wants to become light." He lowers the lantern, but it cannot change while you hide it or fear it. He walks closer. It changes when you breathe with it, when you meet it gently, when you stop calling it enemy. You feel those words like warm rain on the surface of your heart. The monk whispers, "I want this inside me." The Buddha nods. "It is already there." and you feel that truth like a slow flame turning golden at the edges. The Buddha carries the lantern to a small pool at the edge of the clearing. "Come," he says. You and the monk follow him to the water. The pool is still, smooth as polished stone. Moonlight rests on its surface. The Buddha touches the water. Ripples widen and fade. "This water can receive any heat," he says. "It holds everything without burning." He gestures for you to kneel. You do. Place your hands in the water. You lower them slowly. The coolness rises. The heat within you moves downward out of the chest, through the arms, into the water's embrace. The monk does the same. His breath catches in his throat, a soft gasp of relief. The Buddha watches with gentle eyes. "The night," he says, "knows how to carry heat. It was made for that." You breathe deeper, slower. As the water takes the last of your fire, you feel your chest grow quiet. You feel your mind grow soft. You feel your heart grow spacious. The Buddha lays his hand on your back. "Let the night cool you," he whispers. And you do. You let the night touch what hurts. You let the water soothe what burns. You let the breath carry the ember out of the body. Not forced, not pushed, just released into a world that knows how to hold it. The Buddha lifts his head to the sky. "Breathe out," he says. And you do a long, slow exhale like emptying a full room. "Again," he says. You exhale and feel warmth fall away from you. Again, you exhale, and something inside finally lets go. The Buddha places his hand on your shoulder. "There," he whispers. "That is how fire leaves." You breathe in slow and deep. You breathe out long and loose. And with each breath, the last of your heat moves into the night. The water cools your skin. The breeze cools your heart. The moonlight cools your thoughts. And you cool from within. You lift your hands from the water. Your skin tingles. Your chest expands. Your shoulders feel light. The monk rises beside you. His eyes shimmer, not with fire, but with softness. "I feel free," he whispers. The Buddha nods. "You are free," he says, "not because fire left, but because you stopped holding it." He steps back to the center of the clearing. The lantern glows. The moon shines. The wind hums. Everything feels calm. Everything feels safe. Everything feels soft. Especially you. The Buddha sits again. You sit beside him. The monk sits too. And the night wraps itself around all three of you, a blanket of cool shadow and warm silence. The Buddha speaks softly. "Heat comes from the past," he says. "Coolness comes from breath." He lifts his eyes to the stars. When breath slows, he says, "Fire fades." The wind moves through the grass. A low, gentle whisper. You listen. You breathe. You soften. Inside your chest, a quiet night begins to bloom. The Buddha rises once more. He takes the lantern. He turns toward a narrow path leading deeper into the forest. A bell hangs from a distant pagoda. You hear it sway, a soft chime, a long echo that drifts across the trees. "This sound waits for you," the Buddha says. "It will teach you what fire cannot." He looks at you deeply and gently. "Walk with me," he whispers, and you rise cooler, lighter, quieter than before. You step onto the path. The monk walks beside you. The Buddha leads ahead. The bell rings again, soft, endless, like a breath that never leaves. And you follow the sound into the night. Follow the sound, slowly, softly, as the night deepens around you. The bell's echo reaches you long before you see it, a soft trembling in the air, a long ribbon of sound slipping between the trees, stretching through the quiet forest. You breathe with that sound, in and out, letting the bell guide the rhythm of your chest. You walk with the Buddha along a narrow moonlit path. The young monk follows behind you. All three of you move, as if carried by the same gentle pulse of night. The air cools. The forest stills. The world becomes a soft chamber of breath and echo. The sound of the bell grows slightly stronger, never loud, never sharp, just steady, endless, like a heartbeat hidden in the sky. The Buddha pauses at a clearing. Tall grass waves in silver curves. A pagoda stands on a small hill, and at the top, a single bell swaying in the breeze. Its voice carries through the night like a calm whisper, repeating itself over and over, until the mind begins to follow. The Buddha turns to you. This is the bell that never stops. His words fall softly into the night. It teaches the heart how to rest even in sound. You walk up the hill. The grass brushes your legs with soft, cool strokes. The air thins into a gentle hush. At the top, the bell hangs from a weathered beam, a simple shape against the vast sky. It moves with the wind. It rings with the wind. It breathes with the wind. The monk steps closer. Why does it ring? He asks quietly. The Buddha smiles. Because the world moves, he says, and peace must move with it. The bell swings again. Its tone spreads out in slow, shimmering waves. You feel it on your skin, in your chest, behind your eyes. A sound that doesn't force itself, a sound that doesn't seek attention, a sound that simply exists. The Buddha motions for you both to sit. You settle on the cool earth. The monk sits beside you. The Buddha sits before you. The bell rings again. The sound enters you like a deep breath someone else is taking. The Buddha studies the monk. You carry noise, he says gently. The monk lowers his eyes. You feel the truth in those words too. Not the noise of the world, the noise of the mind. Thoughts that throb, memories that stir, questions that spin in crowded circles. The Buddha picks up a small stone from the ground. He taps it lightly against the earth. A soft clack echoes once, then fades. This is sound that ends, he says. He lifts another stone and taps it again. Another brief clack, another ending. The monk watches silently. The Buddha gestures toward the bell. And this, he says, is sound that stays. The bell rings, as if on cue, a long, drawn-out hum that threads itself into the night air. It fades slowly, but never fully ends. One echo meets the next. The night becomes a tapestry of waves. Your thoughts, the Buddha says, are like these stones. He taps the ground again. Short, sharp, ending quickly. Another tap, but your reaction to your thoughts, he gestures upward to the bell, is like this sound. The wind nudges the bell. Its tone drifts outward, soft, endless, unstopping. You let one thought become 1,000 echoes. He looks into your eyes, and the echoes tire you. The monk closes his eyes. The bell rings again, slow, low, steady. The sound enters. The sound leaves. Nothing clings. Nothing sticks. The Buddha touches the monk's chest. This, he says, is where noise returns when you try to hold it. The monk's breath hardens. You sense the familiar ache, rising in him, that tight pull of inner noise trying to take shape. The Buddha removes his hand. Open yourself to the bell, he says. The monk lifts his eyes. Do not chase the sound. Do not block it. Let it pass through you. You breathe deeply. You let the bell's tone enter your chest, then leave without force. The monk breathes too, slow, uncertain, but willing. The next ring passes through you both like wind sliding between trees. It does not stay. It does not echo. It does not burn. It just moves. And something inside you moves too. Something that once clung loosens its grip. The Buddha rises. He stands beside the bell. He lays one hand gently on its rim. A mind at peace, he says, can hear sound without becoming sound. He pushes the bell very lightly. It swings. It hums. It sends the air into waves. You watch the wind carry the note across the hill. You cannot stop noise, he says, but you can stop being shaken by noise. The bell hums again, longer this time, deeper. Peace is not silence, he says. Peace is learning to rest in the middle of sound. The moon glows higher, the night widens. Your breath slows to match the bell's rhythm. The monk watches the bell as if seeing it for the first time. So the bell rings, he whispers, and something inside me doesn't rise anymore. The Buddha smiles. Good, he says softly. That is the beginning. The Buddha invites you to stand beside him. Close your eyes, he says. You do. Listen, and you listen. The bell rings. Its sound travels through your skin, through your ribs, through the quiet space behind your heart. Where does the sound go? He asks. You inhale. You exhale. It enters. You whisper, and leaves. The Buddha nods. This is peace, not blocking sound, not absorbing sound, but letting sound complete its journey. He places your hand on your chest. There is a bell inside you, he says. You feel it ring when life moves. Your chest warms. You feel echoes you didn't know you carried. The Buddha continues. Most people fear their inner bell. They think the sound means trouble. He steps back. But it only means the heart is alive. The monk breathes deeply. You breathe deeply. Both of you sink into the truth. When you stop fearing your bell, he says, its sound becomes light. The Buddha sits again. You and the monk follow. The bell rings softer this time, gentler, almost sleepy. The Buddha looks toward the sky. Noise can teach, he says. You wait. The wind brushes your skin. The bell hums. The earth cools. Noise teaches that stillness does not come from silence. He lifts a small pebble from the ground. He drops it. A tiny click. Then quiet. But silence can be broken, he says. Stillness cannot. The bell rings again. Low, slow, endless. The Buddha's voice melts into the sound. Stillness is a way of listening, a way of resting, a way of letting the world breathe through you. He touches his heart. Stillness is here. The monk closes his eyes. You do too. The bell rings. This time the sound doesn't feel like noise. It feels like a soft hand brushing your chest. It feels like the moon touching water. It feels like night air opening a window inside you. The Buddha whispers, "Do you feel it?" You nod. The monk nods too. The Buddha breathes slowly. That is the bell becoming peace. A warmth soft as candle flame fills your lungs. The bell hums again. You breathe out, and the breath carries away something old, something tight, something that wasn't yours to hold. The Buddha watches you with gentle eyes. Yes, he whispers. Let it go with the sound. The bell rings again. This time you do not brace. You do not tighten. You do not sink inward. You simply listen and let the sound move. Something deep inside you opens. A space that was once crowded now feels wide, quiet, free. The monk's breath shudders softly, a release he didn't expect. You feel a similar release inside yourself. The Buddha smiles. When you stop fighting noise, he says, noise loses its power. The wind shifts, the bell sways. A final echo spreads across the hill. The Buddha lifts his head. You hear it now, he says, with clarity, with ease, with space. The monk bows deeply. You feel the same instinct to bow, not in worship, but in gratitude. The bell rings once more, a soft closing breath, and something inside you finally rests. The Buddha rises slowly. The bell has taught you what silence could not. He looks between you and the young monk. You have cooled the fire. You have softened the burden. You have released the noise. He turns toward the moonlit path. Now rest, he whispers. The wind grows softer. The bell fades into a long, sleepy sigh. The night wraps around you like warm cloth. Your breath smooths. Your chest opens. Your mind dimly glows with quiet peace. The Buddha begins to walk away. Slow, steady, a lantern in the night. The monk follows. You follow too, not with your feet, but with your breath. And the bell, its final echo, guides you gently towards sleep. Stay here a moment longer. Feel the night settle again. Feel your breath deepen. Feel the earth steady beneath you. The hill grows quiet. The bell rests in the breeze. Even its last echo seems to float in warm darkness. Your body loosens. Your mind softens. The night folds around you like a gentle hand. The Buddha remains still, a calm flame in the moonlit air. You sense his presence the way one senses warmth without touching it. The young monk sits beside you. His shoulders lower, his breath opens, his eyes soften into something peaceful and new. The Buddha looks at him, and then at you. Noise changes, he says quietly. When the heart changes its way of listening, he lifts his hand toward the bell. Before tonight, this sound shook you. He lowers his hand. Now it steadies you. The monk nods slowly. You nod too, because something inside does feel steadier, as if a small inner storm has finally found its quiet shoreline. The Buddha rises and walks toward the bell. The grass sways around him like a sea of silver threads. He reaches the wooden beam and rests his palm on the bell's cool surface. You think noise comes from the world, he says, but most noise comes from memory. He taps the bell lightly with his fingers. A soft hum spreads outward. Smooth, gentle, long. Every moment you have ever feared, the Buddha says, echoes inside you like this bell. He taps it again. Each echo becomes another echo. The monk lowers his head. You feel a quiet ache in your own chest, a recognition deep and wordless. The Buddha turns to you, but echoes calm when you calm. He touches the bell again, this time without tapping. The bell sways with almost no sound. Peace, he whispers, is not the absence of echoes. It is the softening of their edges. You breathe in, slow and warm, and as you exhale, the echoes within you seem to soften too. The Buddha sits once more on the soft earth. The monk sits beside him. You sit too. The bell rings lightly once, a breath of sound that floats into the night sky. The monk watches it fade. It feels different, he says. It doesn't frighten me. The Buddha nods gently, because you are listening as a friend. The monk looks confused. A friend of sound? The Buddha smiles. Yes, he says softly. A friend of whatever comes. The wind shifts. The bell hums again, a soft downward sigh. The Buddha continues. When sound arrives, welcome it. The bell sways. When sound rises, let it rise. The bell pauses. When sound fades, let it fade. He turns to you, and when silence returns, rest. You inhale slowly. You feel the truth in your breath. You feel the openness in your chest. You feel the calm settling deeper behind your ribs. The Buddha's voice falls like warm night rain. A peaceful heart does not chase sound. He closes his eyes. A peaceful heart does not fear sound. The bell rings once more. A peaceful heart lets the world move. A soft gust moves through the clearing. The bell sways. The hum grows deeper, a long, low note, like water in a cavern. The Buddha listens. You listen. The monk listens. All three of you breathe in one rhythm. The Buddha opens his eyes. The wind, he says, does not ask permission to arrive. Another breeze moves in. The bell rings again, and it does not ask permission to leave. He watches the night. It comes. It moves. It goes. The bell sighs in the darkness, and the world remains whole. You feel something loosen inside you, a tension you didn't know you were guarding. The Buddha looks at you with soft certainty. What arrives is allowed to arrive. What leaves is allowed to leave. You breathe full and slow, and between arrival and departure, he says, you rest. The monk's eyes fill with quiet wonder. Yours do too. The Buddha stands and steps closer to the bell. He steadies it with one gentle hand. The wind pauses. The bell rests. He turns to you. This is your heart, he says. Still, present, unafraid. He releases the bell. The wind returns. The bell swings. The hum rises again. And this, he continues, is your heart when life moves. He walks back slowly. The heart does not break because sound comes. The heart breaks because it clings. The monk places a hand on his chest. Then how do I stop clinging? The Buddha's eyes soften. By opening, he says, like the space that lets sound pass. He lifts his hands and spreads his fingers, a gesture of letting go, of softening, of surrender. You feel your own hands respond to the gesture. They loosen, they open, they trust. The bell rings again, but this time, its sound feels far away, gentle, almost sweet. Your chest expands as the sound enters, and then so quietly you let it leave. The Buddha sits again. You and the monk join him. The night feels deeper now, a dark ocean holding everything in silence and breath. The Buddha speaks softly. Your heart is a bell. He taps the monk's chest very gently. It rings when touched. He taps your chest too. It rings when moved. He draws a circle in the air. It rings when life asks for your attention. You listen. Your heart listens, but the heart does not have to echo. He looks upward. It can ring and then rest. The bell rings lightly. The sound moves through the clearing like a long whisper. You inhale. You exhale. You rest. The Buddha rises slowly. The lantern glow inside him has softened even more. He steps beside the bell. Each of you, he says, will hear noise in your life. He lifts his eyes to the moon. You will hear anger. You will hear fear. You will hear the echoes of old memories. He touches the bell, and you will hear your own heart calling out. The bell hums. When these sounds come, he says, do not shut your ears. He releases the bell, and do not chase them. He steps back. Let sound pass like wind through tall grass. The grass waves in silent agreement. Let sound pass through the space you have opened. He touches his heart. Let sound pass without becoming your identity. The bell rings one last time longer, deeper, as if blessing the entire night. And then the sound softens into silence. The Buddha looks toward the path leading out of the grove. Come, he says. The bell has finished its teaching. The monk rises. You rise too. The night feels different, not quiet, but calm, not empty, but open. The Buddha walks slowly down the hill. You follow his steps. The monk walks beside you lighter, unburdened, as if the bell has emptied him of old echoes. The forest hums softly. The stars blur slightly as your body relaxes deeper into the night. Your breath moves like water. Your chest moves like tide. Your mind moves like wind through wide spaces. The Buddha stops beneath a tall cedar tree. This, he says quietly, is where the bell's path ends. He looks at you, soft, knowing, kind. And this, he says, is where your rest begins. He steps aside. You feel the weight of the night settle into your bones, not heavy, but comforting. The monk bows. The Buddha bows. You bow too, not out of duty, but out of gratitude for the sound that taught you stillness. The Buddha's final words float into the night air. Peace is not found by silencing life. Peace is found by listening without fear. He turns and walks back into the forest. The monk follows. You remain beneath the cedar tree, your breath warm, your heart soft, your mind wide open to the quiet hum of the universe. And the night, the deep, dark, endless night, wraps around you like a soft blanket. You are ready. You are calm. You are held. The bell no longer echoes. Only peace remains. Stay right here, in this softness, in this gentle quiet, between one breath and the next. You've walked far tonight, through rivers that found their way, through the weight of burdens you learned to set down, through the heat of fire that softened into warmth, through the endless bell whose echoes became peace. Now the night carries you. Now the world is finally still. Let your breath fall into an easy rhythm, like moonlight settling onto a calm ocean, like a candle flame relaxing after a long day of burning. Inhale, slowly, as if drawing in the cool glow of distant stars. Exhale, gently, letting everything you no longer need flow out and disappear into the dark. You're safe here. You're held here. You've arrived at the quiet place the stories were guiding you toward. a place inside you that was always waiting, always open, always ready to welcome you home. Feel how the air rests around your shoulders. Feel how your heartbeat slips into the rhythm of the night. Feel how your thoughts begin to loosen, like leaves drifting away on a slow river. Everything tonight has been moving you toward this moment, toward release, toward ease, toward the kind of peace that doesn't ask for effort or understanding or control. A peace that simply asks you to rest. The stories linger around you now, not as lessons, not as ideas, but as a soft glow in your chest. The river still flows somewhere far away, carrying its silver path around stone and shadow, trusting its own direction, trusting its own shape. You can flow like that too. You don't have to push. You don't have to resist. You don't have to fight the current. Just drift. Just breathe. Just soften into the direction your heart wants to go. A candle flickers softly in the corner of your mind. Its flame is steady, small, golden. It doesn't strain. It doesn't rush. It simply shines. Let your breath shine like that. Slow, quiet, steady. A warm glow in the darkness of night. And remember the moment you placed your burdens down. The moment your hands finally opened. The moment the weight fell into the earth and stayed there. You no longer need to hold what hurts. You no longer need to carry what exhausts you. The ground will take it. The universe will hold it. You can rest. Feel a soft wind moving through you. The same wind that cooled the fire in your chest. The same wind that carried your heat into the dark and left you lighter, cooler, calmer. Your breath is that wind now. With each inhale, you draw in the night's quiet blessing. With each exhale, you let the last flames fade into gentle ash. There's nothing left to fix, nothing left to solve, nothing left to think about. Only breath, only rest, only the night holding you completely. And somewhere deeper still, a distant bell keeps ringing, not loud, not sharp, but soft, endless, like a heartbeat echoing through the sky. Its voice is inside you now, a calm note that teaches your chest how to loosen, how to open, how to feel safe in the presence of sound and silence alike. Let that bell guide you now. Let its long echo pull you inward, downward, into the softest parts of your being. Every ring falls deeper. Every ring brings you closer to the quiet center within you. You are drifting now, like a feather on a warm breeze, like a lantern floating across a dark lake. Drifting without effort, drifting without direction, drifting simply because the night knows where to take you. Your breath thins, your muscles soften, your thoughts dim like fading stars. Let everything dissolve. Let everything fall away. You're sinking into the gentlest part of the universe, a place where nothing hurts, where nothing is urgent, where nothing is asked of you. Here, you are free. Here, you can rest without guard. Here, you can sleep in the arms of silence. One more breath, deep and slow, like pulling the whole sky into your heart, and a long exhale, like giving the sky back to itself. Settle now into stillness, into quiet, into the deep peace that has been unfolding inside you all night. Feel your body melting into the ground. Feel your breath slowing into dream. Feel your mind opening like night flowers under moonlight. You are safe. You are calm. You are drifting into the softest sleep. Let go completely and rest. Nothing more is needed. Nothing more must be said. Just this final breath and silence.